Heroes of the Storm. I'm Kevin Naki, joined alongside by Dustin Browder, and we're going to take a look at the new Dragon Shire today.
Hey everybody, I'd like to remind everybody out there today that this is an alpha version of the game. Who knows what could happen here? We could crash, the whole thing come down like a house of cards. This is a high wire act and a live show. We could totally fall to our deaths at any moment. This is the new Dragon Shire. Let's take a look at these teams. We've got Medic Uther there on the left. We've got Sergeant Hammer. We've got the Witch Doctor. We've got Muradin and Nova here in her very special skin. On the right side of the map, as the red team, we've got Goblin Tinker, Gazlo, we've got Falstad, the Griffin Rider, we've got Merkablo, the Diablo, we've got Zeratul in another special skin, and we've got Malfurion.
Oh, and I just love Zeratul dancing there. So we are, of course, on the new Dragon Shire, and everyone voted for this. It was overwhelmingly chosen, so let's take a quick look at the map. So in the very middle of the map, you're going to see that. That's a dragon statue. Now, if you're able to capture two different shrines, which are positioned on the north and south of the map, then your team has the ability to activate the Dragon Knight. Doing so gives you this very powerful knight that you can use for a limited amount of time to really just start wrecking objectives and other characters.
Yeah, this Dragon Knight is insanely powerful, but his duration is short. He's kind of like maybe a tank from Left 4 Dead. This is a huge, huge monster you can control and just wreck other heroes, knock them about any way you want to do. And so you watch for players to try to gain control of all three lanes simultaneously so they can be the ones to control the Dragon Knight.
That's right, and we do want to give a big shout out to our observer, Tim Frazier, as well. He is, of course, manning the controls and will be keeping track of things as we go along. Lanes are setting up. We have Gazlo versus Nova over there in the top lane. Looks like we got a little bit of Uther and Witch Doctor versus Falstad and Zeratul here. Already a little bit of damage being applied by our Witch Doctor. Falstad not able to make his way out of there. A little bit of throws on the top lane, I'm sorry, in mid lane as well, as Lord Goblo is trying to bring some people back to that turret, but of course, Muradin is walking away.
I don't know if I like Ku in that position there. He's playing Sergeant Hammer, and she's in a little bit of trouble. She just got picked up by Diablo and thrown right into those towers, and down he goes. Wiped out Muradin as unable to get in there to protect him, and that's going to be a good matchup, I think, for Red in that middle lane.
It looks like we already have some fights developing around the shrines as well, over towards the top. Looks like people are trying to wrest control. Already Zeratul trying to jump on top of the shrine down in the bottom. Sunshine being taken by Nova, and we are going to have some fights back and forth here. Zeratul takes some damage, blinks away, and will get behind the towers.
Yeah, absolutely well done. It looks like Blue is going to control both of those shrines, at least in the short term. I don't think they have the presence to gain control in the middle lane. There's Muradin getting knocked away, and there's Sergeant Hammer coming, trying to push Merkablo away. Sieging up, very good there. It's a great position that might buy in time. And here comes Falstad, using his ability to fly across the map, gets right into position, and Blue is pushed back. They've maintained control of top and bottom. Looks like they're about to lose control of top. And they were unable, however, to gain control of the middle position, so they've lost control of the shrine temporarily.
And that's right. And whereas most characters can just mount up with their Z, that's actually a different ability for Falstad. It allows him to fly a very long distance on the map. Looks like Zeratul gets in some damage once, or is in some trouble there once again. As a wall of zombies came out for the Witch Doctor, but not enough to take him down. Another big engagement here in the middle. Ku is taking a lot of damage, but Falstad's going to pay for it. Muradin tries to jump in, but gets flung by Diablo under the turrets, and Muradin falls. Really good turnaround there from Red Team.
Yeah, well done. And that's what, like you were saying, that's one of the big things we're trying to go for, is make all these heroes as unique as possible, so their movement powers are different. They're, they have different types of heroic abilities. They have different talents in the game. Every hero wants to feel as absolutely unique as possible to do justice, and there is the grab. Blue team grabbing a hold of that Dragon Knight, and now they're going to push really hard in this middle lane. Watch for that Dragon Knight to do his big kick power, where he hits the enemy hero and knocks him flying across the map. You can sometimes knock heroes almost all the way back into their own base. You can give them a huge boot and just kick them right out of the battle.
And, it looks like he tried to charge forward there, but unfortunately ran directly into the wall. Of course, the other ability that he has at his disposal is another member of Red Team goes down. The Dragon Knight, of course, with their Q, can spew out a huge cone of flame, just what you see there. It does damage initially and damage over time to anything that's sitting underneath. Zeratul tries to jump in, but pays for it. Lord Goblo trying to come after the Witch Doctor. Looks like Falstad will finally lock down that kill, but they're just standing in the middle of the Dragon Knight. The Dragon Knight slaughtering everything, and there goes Lord Goblo, kicked a full town away.
Right to his healing well, so I'm sure he's rather happy to be there. He can pick up some healing and charge back into battle. He gets on his sparkly pony unicorn, and he charges back into the fight. You can see the Dragon Knight's getting a little beat up there, so he's going to position now for the death of the Dragon Knight. The Dragon Knight is probably going to go down. There it goes. and now he wants to maneuver away before he's surrounded, and he successfully does that.
That's right. The Dragon Knight, when it either dies or times out, your hero is just going to appear where that's at. So if you find yourself really fighting deep in your enemy's territory, and the Dragon Knight dies there, well, tough luck for you, and you're probably not going to be able to come back. Fights developing, though, as we see Mirrodin trying to take a mercenary camp here off to the side. Looks like that is going to be the death of the Witch Doctor, unfortunately, though. And Falstad and Lorgoblo may try to get some damage in here or stop this. No, looks like they're going to commit back to lane while this Merc camp, these Siege Giants, are destroyed.
I don't think they were quite aware of the danger in there. They were gone for the gank. They saw a little bit of movement. They didn't see exactly what's going on. With those Siege Giants up, that's going to be a little bit of an advantage. Oh, good move by Mirrodin. He tries to get in there to take down Falstad. Falstad, of course, very slippery. He's trying to get away. A stun from Uther. Falstad in a little bit of danger here. He's going to try to get out of trouble. I think the tower is going to drop him. And Red falling back a little bit in the face of this Siege Giant push.
Yeah, and we do actually have a level advantage for Red right now. But with these Siege Giants, this could be a really nice opportunity for Blue to try and make their way back in. Another good fling from Diablo. Lorgoblo has been great this entire time, just getting extra damage on those Blue players as they sneak their way a bit too close to those objectives.
He's been using those towers very effectively, grabbing enemy team members and just throwing them right into the guns of the towers to do a ton of damage. I think the Red is going to hold this position here. They're going to probably lose their outer walls. I'm getting a little bit beat up there. The good siege tank by Richard Koo there as Sergeant Hammer, and of course that Siege Giant still wrecking havoc down below. But I think they'll be able to hold in the long run. That Siege Giant can't last forever. Blue pushing very, very hard into this position, and Red, yeah, they're struggling to do it, but I think they can hold it if they can just hang on a little bit longer.
And as you guys just saw, there was another countdown started for those shrines to reappear here. So in 15 seconds, the moon and the sun shrine will reappear, and that Dragon Knight will become available once again. So expect a fight to develop because of that. Falstad going for a big flank here, going to try and get in behind the Siege Giants and Blue team in general. The fight does start commencing, but Blue's just taking no damage yet. It looks like they're just trying to push away initially that Siege Giant. Finally, Uther starts taking some damage, so of course he'll regen quite a bit of that back up. Zeratul getting very low at this stage, taking some more damage, will end up falling, and Sergeant Hammer, of course, he too has a little bit different mobility. He falls in the end. He has an activatable ability, which actually gives him thrusters that speed him up for a few seconds.
He can only use it very rarely, but when he uses it, he's very fast and very efficient. He can't be knocked off of it like a traditional mount. You see there, Matt as Gazlo gains control. Almost drops Claudio there as Nova, and she's going to dance behind her tower there and get some position. It looks like Red is about to pick up a Dragon Knight capture if they can hold the middle lane.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it largely comes down to that. Falstaff throws off an ultimate there to try and get in some damage. Mirrodin coming back, though, is actually doing a pretty decent job of pushing Falstaff. But Falstad survives with just a few hit points thanks to Zeratul jumping in there at the last minute.
Can they hold it in time? They're getting pushed off, and they did grab it. Red team gets the Dragon Knight. This was critical for them. You can see they're actually up a level right now. They lost that first Dragon Knight, and they were getting pushed hard in bottom lane. It was looking pretty rough for them, but now they've got the Dragon Knight, and they're up a level. Blue's about to even it up, so levels are even again. And here comes Red on the hard push there in bottom. And there's the boot on Uther as he gets knocked out of the battle.
I just love watching that, honestly. Like, I don't care what it does after that. I just like watching the animation. Dragon Knight, though, of course, is going to be able to very effectively tank these towers for a long period of time. Only 30 seconds left on the Dragon Knight, so it can pretty much just afford to stand there and tank damage the entire time while continuing to push out objectives. Looks like their Zach is trying to be a bit more efficient with it, though. Tries to charge in, but gets stopped by the wall once again.
Yeah, so the blue team is really gathered down here. You see all 5 heroes are coming into position to try to hold this town. They really don't want to lose it. And with the Dragon Knight already down to only 10 seconds left, I'm not sure Red's going to be able to get enough damage. It's going to depend on what happens in that team fight once the Dragon Knight is done. And he's almost down. He's taking a ton of damage. Only 1 second. Out he pops. Mirrodin going into Avatar mode there, moving into position. And Red, a little bit beat up, is scattering. Let's see if there's any casualties in this retreat.
I've got to give Blue Team a big benefit of the doubt here. Good credit, as they've actually held off this very, very well. Death Laser comes in from Gazlo. Not enough, but look at that blink from Zeratul. He's going to pay with his life, but it was worth it. He gets a kill, and he opens up a big engagement for Red Team there. So while I was just about to compliment Blue Team on a very nice job holding off that Dragon Knight, they get slaughtered in the follow-up team fight.
And you can see on the upper left, the upper right, you can see the kills on both teams now. 3 players down, 4 players down for Blue Team. Red on the push with only a single player down. They're going to drop that town. They're going to drop this tower. The question is, do they have enough to keep pushing forward in this position? With Gazlo there, they might be able to do it. Gazlo, very effective, the Goblin Tinker as a pusher. He can do a ton of damage to these towers. He may have some special talents as well that's helping him out here. And it looks like all the blue heroes are up again, and Red's going to fall back a little bit, see if they can pick up these Siege Giants on their way out.
Yeah, but don't forget they have to stand on it and actually physically capture it here in a second. No, blue team gets on there just a second beforehand. Rocket comes across, and blue team is actually going to end up getting this capture. Witch Doctor's ultimate pops out and manages to sneak in a kill there as well. And a great turnaround for blue team. Whereas they were just stomped in a team fight, they come back and win a big one near an objective.
And that's that weak bottom lane as well. That's exactly what they want those Siege Giants as they're pushing in. Now blue is trying to do a little bit of a split push here. They've got the Siege Giants pushing in bottom lane. They're happy with that. And in the mid lane now, they're doing a heavy aggressive move. They got 4 heroes in position. They take a hit there from Falstead. Rich in a little bit of danger there. He gets grabbed by Diablo again and shoved into the guns of those towers. He's got to be careful of that move. Red trying to get some damage done. Wow, there goes Zeratul for a big hit.
Yeah, looks like Zeratul regenerating a little bit as he runs away there, so he's not in too much danger anymore. Claudio, of course, was just throwing off Nova's apparition there. He will be able to sneak away from that fight. Still a lot happening down at bot lane, though. We have 2 waves of Siege Giants that are actually pushing this fort at once. And of course, Witch Doctor has a lot of great AoE abilities and will be able to push out those minion waves very, very easily.
Yeah, I think he's going to pay for his aggression there. He's getting quite a beating there from Zeratul and Diablo.
Yeah.
Both are pretty injured, so I don't know if they want to hang out there at this point. Neither one of them can take even another hit. Down he goes. Incredible. Killed by the minions. Unbelievable.
Oh boy. All right, so Nova trying to take control of these shrines up here. While Blue did a very nice job of kind of controlling the lanes early on, they've kind of ceded control pretty well to Red Team over the course of the rest of this game. Yep. They do have both shrines right now, but that's not going to stand as Nova's not here to be able to support this, and we see Falstead already taking that shrine right back.
Yeah, and he had to use Avatar there as Muradin to try to stay in position. Oh, he's taking a bunch of hits, and down he goes. Can't get away from that damage. Gazlo with control of the top shrine, Blue in control of the bottom shrine, Nova with a clear advantage in middle at this point. Blue pushing hard, but without control of the shrines, it doesn't particularly matter. Rich has got to be careful. This is what went wrong for him before with Diablo. He uses his big blaster to push Diablo away, and he escapes successfully. Here comes Falstead, trying to get some free hits, gets in a little bit of trouble.
That's a brave Falstead that I think was anticipating Diablo to go in on a fight there.
I think exactly right.
Flew in and just kind of stood in the middle of Sergeant Hamper and Uther and decided to get out of there. Yeah, Diablo had to arrive in style, had to get on the unicorn there.
Rich in trouble again. He's taking a bit of beating. There's the ultimate from Uther giving him immunity, so he's going to escape away. A big blast there from Falstead trying to drive these back, and we got 4 now in mid, 4 red, Blue backing up, and looks like there's a bit of a battle in the top tower as well as they're trying to gain control of that shrine.
Man, and Falstead getting away with just a few hit points. No, dies right in the end there, so blue team has an opportunity to try and push this back, but they've got to grab it because now Gazlo has complete control of the top, and it looks like the shrine control was ceded before they could pick up the Dragon Knight, so blue team unfortunately will have to regroup and go back at that again.
That's what's so powerful about a hero like Gazlo. You know, he's not that efficient at killing enemy heroes, but he does gain board control and position. On maps where board control is so incredibly important, you see how powerful a hero like that can be. These types of map mechanics really allow us to do those types of heroes where they're just trying to get position, just trying to control areas of the battlefield.
And here comes Goblo, followed up by Zeratul there. A little bit of a leap for Mirrodin as he tries to make his way away. Of course, he is a bit slowed now, though, and the damage coming out from Zeratul is pretty ridiculous.
And he's very slippery, of course. He can use his jump, he can stun enemy heroes, but he was so far away from any kind of help in that bottom lane with both of those towns already being destroyed. It was really almost over before it began for him at that point, but he made a brave effort of it.
And Red now has control of both shrines. Falstead, as you saw, just flew in, but of course we do have Crew and Paul sitting there trying to siege this up. Now, Furion's not going to contribute a ton of damage here, but we'll give a lot of sustain to Falstead if he decides to move back in a bit more aggressively.
Wow, everybody knows where the battle's going to happen. They're all coming in here to mid to try to gain control of this position, trying to drive these heroes back, see if they can get anything done. There's Kuz in a lot of trouble there as Sergeant Hammer. Oh, he's just going to barely get away.
Oh, very nice job. Gazlo has actually dropping some turrets from the top there, and that very nearly finished off Sergeant Hammer. But as it stands, looks like Zeratul going to jump. No! Nova! Really well done. Takes over a shrine at the last second, preventing Red Team from grabbing the Dragon Knight. Well done.
Oh, what a closely contested game. These guys have been really practicing a lot against one another lately, and they really want this victory. Top lane is basically crippled for both teams. But if you look at the other lanes, both towns are up in a lot of positions, and they're starting to gather here in the mid for what looks like nope, they're going to scatter down and try to grab some shrines. Red going top, blue going bottom.
Yeah, I mean, we still definitely do have a 1-level advantage, and it's almost a 2-level advantage here for Red Team. So they are definitely in a good position, but this is still anyone's game at this point. Totally. The next Dragon Knight is going to represent a massive swing here. We will see forts fall.
Absolutely. I've seen so many times in this game I've wanted to just GG out because I'm down by 2 levels, and I think this is it, it's over, and then we go on to win the game 4 minutes later. And I've learned my lesson about giving up too soon in this game. It's just, It's too crazy. There's too much instability at the high end. Oh, wow, a lot of trouble there. Down he goes. Those DPS heroes can really take when they get surrounded like that, and Falstad, cut out of position, is destroyed.
And clearly there's a lot of damage that's being built on the Witch Doctor right there, and we've put out quite a bit. Now, Uther's not going to contribute much here in terms of fight, but he will sustain plenty long enough for Mirrodin to come down there, and a 2-on-1 is a lot more advantageous. Oh, that was a really nice job by the Witch Doctor there to kind of try and zone out Lorgablo. Even throws down his ult to try and get him. Will it be enough, though? Mirrodin jumps back in. Lorgablo goes down.
There goes the physics. Diablo goes flying over the fence to his doom. In top lane, it looks like Gazlo's been doing some work here. He's picked up those mercenaries, those Dragon Knights, and he's pushing hard. He really wants to get something done in this top lane. Claudio in a little bit of trouble there as Nova. She puts down her holo decoy, but it's not enough, and down she goes. Zach as Zergo coming in here trying to help out, and we got a big push here in this top position.
All right, so there are choices now for blue team. They could try and recapture control of the shrines and sneak a Dragon Knight while they're getting pushed here off in the top lane. They're actually deciding to try and counter push down in the bottom lane, but they've already lost all of their towers for that fort and town up at the top, and that is a significant problem. Reinforcements are starting to fall in now, and we'll see if that's going to be enough.
It looks like Red has made their point. They've destroyed that front line, and they're happy with what they've done. Falstad trying to get in a position behind here. He wants to try to trap Mirrodin in a great position here and see if he can catch him. Mirrodin's pretty tough. I'm not sure this is going to be enough. Mirrodin with, of course, a lot of hit points, a lot of regeneration. With the ability to jump, he can often get away. Falstad in hot pursuit. Mirrodin going to take the long walk home and see if he can get to any of his allies. There's nobody forthcoming to help him here as Falstad's in hot pursuit. There's a jump as he keeps dancing away. Oh, and there's a big blast. He pops his avatar. Zeratul coming in. There's really no hope, and down he goes.
Mirrodin gets cut in half as well. Poor Mirrodin. All right, so blue team is actually going to recapture control of the shrines here, but and Nova's actually in position here with the Dragon Knight. If they could successfully sneak a Dragon Knight right now, this would be a massive turnaround, but it looks like the bottom shrine was recaptured by the red team just in time, and that prevents the big turnaround we were looking for.
Nobody in position to make use of it. Nova completely surrounded by her enemies there. There's the ultimate by Uther giving her immunity for a short time. She needs to get out of there right now, and she does. Uther tanking most of the damage. You've seen him before. You know he's tough. He can absolutely handle it. Rich there as Sergeant Hammer doing a bunch of damage. This is a great hero for these defensive kinds of positions. If he can only get some protection from his allies, there's the ultimate from Diablo. And looks like Falstad up there is going to grab the position. Nova with the shot on Malfurion doesn't quite drop him, and Blue sort of scattering away from this position, not able to hold it, and there is the Dragon Knight from Red.
And I'm really worried for blue team now because they were already being pushed into their tower. Witch Doctor's down for another 30 seconds. There's a 2-level disadvantage and a Dragon Knight on the field now for Red team.
2-level. This is the Storm's powers. At level 20, you unlock the Storm's talents, and these are a big breakpoint in the talent system. It really gives the team that gets to level 20 first a big advantage, but that advantage won't last. They've got to use it now before Blue hits level 20. They got a Dragon Knight, they got Storms. They're all together in mid, pushing on this position. This is Red's best chance. There goes the Blue as he goes flying away. This is Red's best chance to close down this game.
And Red is making a great stand at that right now as we see another fort about to fall. Towers going down all over the place. Blue trying to regather one more time for one big hold here. Only 15 seconds remaining on that Dragon Knight. Claudio taking some damage once again. Another time that Witch Doctor is kicked away. This Dragon Knight continues to do damage here, and the Palace is soon to be under attack.
Yeah, it's getting really close here. It looks like Red's getting a little bit beat up, and they're letting the Dragon Knight take most of the damage. Good moves by the Goblin Tinker up at top by Gazlo, and it looks like Red's decided they've made their point. They've dropped that town, and they are going to mount up and get out while the getting's good before they take any critical damage. This will give Blue a little bit of time. If they can just get up to level 20, they may be able to do okay in that next battle.
I've got to give Red Team credit here for a pretty cool strategy. They've put Zeratul in the Dragon Knight, I believe, both of the times that they've had it, because as soon as he pops out of the Dragon Knight, he just blinks away.
It's very safe to get out of there. He's a very slippery hero in that respect, and that's always what you want in that position.
Yeah, and it looks like Zeratul does die, but of course, he did trigger the talent where he almost immediately respawned, so he's already back on the battlefield, and he's ready to go for another fight here.
Those are those storm powers that will tell you make all the difference. The ability to immediately regenerate, the ability to have your basic attacks chain. We have all kinds of special abilities on these guys at level 20, depending on the type of hero that you're playing, and the sort of custom per hero type at the moment. We're seeing a lot of mercenary grabs. Oh wow, this Palace already under threat from those catapults. Blue in a lot of trouble here. They got to dance and play for time, and you can see they're doing that. They want to be out in position where they can and try to grab a hold of some experience points to get them up to level 20, to give them access to the storm powers so they can have some kind of decent chance of winning that next team fight.
That's right, because when that happens, they will have a reasonable chance to be able to defend. That Palace has a lot of hit points. It's going to continually dish out damage, so long as we don't have a lot of catapults, a lot of Siege Giants that are sitting outside and kind of whacking away at that Nexus as well. It should be a decent chance to stand here for Blue Team. But Dragon Knights are already unlocked once again. Shrines are coming back up, and Red Team has pretty much complete control of the map. So Red Team does have the option to kind of sit back and wait for another Dragon Knight as well.
Yeah, they really do. And Blue doesn't have a lot of the mobility they need. Nova with her cloak can be pretty slippery. She might be able to sneak around the map and try to gank some of those shrines from behind when Red thinks they've got them covered. But they have no Falstad, not even an Abathur who can teleport somewhere else on the map. It looks like a little bit of trouble there for the Witch Doctor as he danced away from that fight. Falstad with the blast. He dodges it just in time. Blue gathered up a little bit, sort of ignored that mid lane as Red is dancing a little bit towards the top, and there come those Dragon Shrines online.
And the Dragon Shrines are online at a time when Red is pushing 2 different lanes with minions right now, with Merc Camps, I should say. So it'd be pretty easy for them to try and go for those shrines, but it looks like Zeratul tried to jump in, blink, and get some damage done. Lord Goblo comes right in, and looks like Witch Doctor may fall once again. Yes, he does go down without being able to use most of his abilities, so his damage is going to be out of the fight.
Okay, here we go. We're almost at Storms for Blue. They need to hold here a little bit longer. I don't know if they have the time, not with those Dragons pushing in. Those Dragon guys are pushing in. They've got just a few more experience points they need. And the Palace is under attack, and they're taking an absolute beating. Will they even make it to 20? They're taking a huge, huge beating right here.
And while all of this is happening, they have another town that's being pushed down to the bot lane as well with those Siege Giants. That's it. GG. Palace falls. And we have a victory for Red Team.
Absolutely. Great game from our players. And hey, man, it was absolutely a blast casting with you. And you did a great job, man, showing us the game. Wonderful, wonderful view of this game world.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much, guys, for tuning in. We do really appreciate you guys checking this out. Don't forget, you can find out all the latest about Heroes of the Storm at heroesofthestorm.com. And we do encourage you, of course, to opt in and sign up for our beta tests that will be forthcoming in the future there. As well, you can find all of our channels as /BlizzHeroes. So YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all of those /BlizzHeroes. Please do subscribe, like, and join those to find out all the latest information about this game. All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up for us here. For Tim Frazier, Dustin